So let me start my presentation by saying that, look, my name is Kapil Arora and I am 46 years old. First 33 years of my life were going on in a very different sequence. But then one day, 13 years back, I decided to change my life. So today I'm going to narrate to you what happened in these 13 years and what were my learnings. I remember I was working in a bank and my main job was to sell investment products to the clients. So one day a client called me and his office was on the 4th floor. And, I was walking and climbing the stairs because that day, for some reasons, the lift was not working. So I had no option but to climb the stairs. So the moment I reached the 3rd floor, I actually started panting and, I was feeling extremely tired. I was feeling so tired that I could not walk more. I had to sit on the stairs. And I realized my entire body was sweating. And that day I decided, my God, what's happening? Maybe this was happening because I was a heavy smoker and a very obese person. Around 90 kgs was my weight. But then I could not move another step, and this was kind of bothering me, and I was extremely tensed. I was just 33 years old, and I had just got married around 4 years back. I had 2 beautiful girls in my family, my wife Bhavna and our 2 years old daughter Ananya. And I thought, look, if I die today, what will happen? I had to change. That day I decided I will change. So next day, what happened? I went to the gym. I hopped on the treadmill and I jogged for 3 minutes. And then I jumped back. And I did what everybody does in a gym. It's not workout, chit chat. That's what everybody does. So I started chatting with a few of my friends, and one of my close friends, he said, why don't you enroll for a Mumbai marathon, which is happening a few years now, which is a 21.1K race. You have to run for 21 kilometers. I said, are you crazy? Why should somebody run 21 kilometers? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Why should I do that? He said, please go and meet the coach and see how it feels. Just go and meet the coach. I took the coach's number, my coach Princeton, I went to him and he said, you have to run. So I started running. But after 3 minutes, I stopped because I had never run in my life beyond 3 minutes continuously. And I thought, that's enough. I cannot run more. Then what happened the next day? Well, next day, I bunked the class. Next day, I again bunked the class. Next 15 days, I could not muster courage to go back because I could not run. Only 3 minutes I could run. That was more than enough. 15 days had passed and I had bunked my class for 15 days. And then one day I realized, okay, let me give it a shot. Let me go at least one day and see if I can do a bit more. And I went again. And that day, I thought, whatever happens, I have to beat that 3 minutes mark, that position of 3 minutes in my head. And I ran there on that day, and I could do around 3.5 minutes of run. And I was on the top of the world. It was awesome. And then I started training, and this 3.5 minutes became 10 minutes, 10 minutes became 40 minutes, 40 minutes became 1 hour. And there I was, my first half marathon in Mumbai, where I was supposed to run a 21-kilometer race. And I started running. And I completed the race. I ran for around 2.5 hours non-stop. I'm going to show you the real picture that day, how I looked like when I was just about to cross the finish line. Well, this is me after crossing 21.1K, my first. And then And this was my first learning. The learning was that journey into a new direction makes you find a new purpose. Then I started realizing that why am I running? There is a certain purpose. There's a certain reason why I'm running. And then it became like an obsession. And then somebody suggested, why don't you run a 42K, which is double the distance? And I said, why not? And I started preparing for a 42K full marathon. And then I started running. Almost every day I was running, morning, evening, night. And I prepared for the full marathon. But there was a big problem. When the full marathon started, the best I could run was 30 kilometers. After 30 kilometers, I could not run. And I still remember that Mumbai marathon that day. I ran for 30 kilometers and then I had to stop because I was done. I was dead. I could not run more. But the race was 42. So I said, let me go a bit more ahead. And I started walking a bit, jogging a bit. And finally, I could actually complete a 42K full marathon. I was on the top of the world. I had never done anything like this. It was like an amazing feeling. But then somebody suggested, all right, you've done 42. You know what? There is another race. There's another race, which is a 90 kilometers race, which is double the distance. And this race happens in South Africa. Why don't you do that? I said, but I've never done this, but okay, let me do this. I said, why not? Why not? And I enrolled for the race. And there I was in South Africa next year, running my first 90 kilometers ultra marathon. And I still remember it was 5:30 in the morning and there was a gentleman in front of me and he was a South African. He looked like a local and I thought, let me ask him if some piece of advice he can give because I was seriously nervous. I was supposed to run 90 kilometers. And I said, sir, this is my first time I'm running so long. Can you give me some piece of advice? And he told me 4 words. And those 4 words still resonate with me today. And those 4 words were, whatever happens, don't stop. And with those 4 words, I started running 90 kilometers race. 1 hour passed, 2 hours passed, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours, 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours, 11 hours had passed. I was running. I was tall. Continuously I was running. After about 11 and a half hours, I finished the biggest race of my life. I did a 90 kilometers non-stop running. And I'm going to show you how I looked after I crossed the finish line. This is after running 90 kilometers. Well, this is me. You can see there is a bit of satisfaction. I'm totally fatigued and sloshed. But I'll never miss that moment. Never. And then something magical happened. Somebody told me that there is a race happening wherein they are creating a world record, a Guinness Book of World Record. And I said, why not? Bring it on. And then this happened. I received this award. I was an official participant in the Guinness Book of World Record. My name got entered in Guinness Book of World Record. While this was happening, somebody gave me another challenge. He said, great, you've done ultra marathon 90 kilometers. But look, there is another race, which is even tougher. I said, what is that? He said, that race is a triathlon. So you have to do 3.8 kilometers of swimming and then 180 kilometers of cycle and then 42.2 kilometers of running all in one go. I said, let me do it. And I enrolled for it. And I said, why not? But there was a big problem. But the problem was I had no clue how to swim. Absolutely no clue. I had never swam 3 meters in my life. And here it was 3.8 kilometers. So I hired a swimming coach and I told him, "Sir, can you train me? I don't know anything about swimming." He said, "You come at 6 in the morning." The next day, 6 in the morning, I was in the pool. And the first time I started, I was drowning. And then again, I was trying to save myself, again drowning, again trying to save myself. It was very tough. I didn't know how to swim. But somewhere I learned how to swim, with some practice. 6 months down the line, here I was in New Zealand, in the chilly waters of Lake Taupo. I was half inside the lake and I was supposed to swim 3.8 kilometers in that chilly water. The race started. I was just praying to God that, let me please finish this swim part. I should not die here because there's nobody to save me here. If I stop, I die. I cannot stop. Once I started, there was no stopping. I finished 3.8 kilometers of swimming. Then I did 180 kilometers of cycling. And then I was into 42.2 kilometers running race. But then something crazy happened. Me and my coach has decided that, you should finish this Ironman race in sub 15 hours. 15 hours was my deadline given by my coach. The problem happened that I was around 13 hours in the race, and then I realized my watch, the battery of the watch, it just got conked off. Probably my watch was also tired with 13 hours of workout. Now there was a big problem because I could not see the time, and it was very dark there. I was running in the dark streets of New Zealand holding a torch in my hand. I had no clue of what time is it, and I had some 20 kilometers of race which was left. But then something magical happened. I entered the final 100 meters of the race where I could see the timing chip. Guess what? Timing chip read 14 hours, 59 minutes. So I had 1 minute and 100 meters to make it to the target. You know what? I did that. My timing is 14 hours, 59 minutes, and 23 seconds. Let me take you to the race and let me show you how I looked that day. This was me after I finished the swimming part. This was the cycle part. This is me running towards the finish line. And then they pronounce, "You are an Ironman." This is the medal I got. This shows 3.8K swim, 180K bike, and 42K run. And if you can see this screen, this is where I'm crossing the finish line, and you can see the time. It's 14 hours, 59 minutes, and 23 seconds. And this was my second learning, which is when you shatter your old beliefs, anything is possible. Then I was awarded a Fit India Ambassador title under the government of India. It was a very, very proud moment. With all this running, one thing was happening, that I was getting curious. I was learning every day. I was hungry to learn. Every single day I was learning. So I developed a very unique habit of reading a lot of books. And I read about speed reading. So I started reading many, many books. My average 1 month was 12 books. And I was reading about everything, from productivity to time management to spirituality to psychology. Everything on earth I was reading. But then with all this reading, I realized, where am I going? Unless and until this knowledge I share with people, or people who deserve to know this, there's no fun of me accumulating so much of knowledge. So one day I made a list of 176 books which I had read in 1 year. 176 books. And then I called people in my office and I said, look, I'm going to teach you the learnings of these books, but I'll not bore you. I'll teach you a learning of the book in, say, 25 minutes. That's it. Then I started teaching them the learnings of the best-selling books of all time. As we can speak now, I had taught people 38 books in last 2 years. So while this teaching was happening, learning was happening, I thought, why don't I write a book? And then I thought of writing a book. The first book I wrote was on time management, because people used to ask me that, what do you do? I mean, how do you find time? And I said, let me write a book on that. And I wrote a book on time management, which was called 5 Secrets. This is the book I wrote. This is called 5 Secrets, and this is available on Amazon. It was one of the best sellers on Amazon. And then after that, I wrote another book, which is called 21.1 Running Mistakes, because I thought I had made so many mistakes in my life. Let somebody else not repeat those mistakes. So this is the second book I wrote, which is called 21.1 Running Mistakes. Now, this book is all about mistakes and how to correct those mistakes.